Welcome to NBA basketball. This is 2K Sports bringing it to you live. It's Saturday night basketball. It'll be the Phoenix Suns facing off against Paul Millsap and the Utah Jazz. And now to bring you all the action, let's get to Kevin Harlan, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, and Doris Burke. I'll see you again at halftime.
The Suns come into a Western Conference contest in this game. Welcome to what should be a great Saturday night for the NBA. With Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg, this is Kevin Harlan. And the news here, not good. Jermaine O'Neal will not play. Clark, the injury is going to keep him out of the game.
And you're right, Kevin. As bad as it's turned out to be, it tells you a little bit about his toughness, that when they took him to the locker room after he got hurt last game, he wanted to come back out and get on the court.
Yeah, they weren't going to let that happen, obviously. That injury was too serious to allow for that. But it does show just the toughness and the passion for the game. So they will miss this player big time over the next few weeks.
So the opening lineup for the Suns. Beasley and Stroll are the forwards. Dragic and Dudley are the backcourt tandem. And it's Gortat in at the center, filling out the middle. And for Utah, at the 4 and 5, Paul Millsap and Al Jefferson. Coyle is out there with Mo Williams. And it's Bell in at the small forward. Dragic with it. He's guarded by Williams. Just 5 on the clock. The kick out to Scola. The Suns need to get a shot off. Beasley defended by Bell.
Alvin Gentry, one of the great guys in this league, so well liked, and I think has developed into one of the better coaches in the league. Helped his team make that late playoff push last season.
Here's Foy. Tries again, and it's Jefferson laying it in.
He made that offensive rebound count. Nice job collecting the second chance points.
Here's Dragic. He's guarded by Williams. And Gortat kicks to Beasley. Back to Gortat. Gets the bucket. And Alvin Gentry, Steve, you mentioned well-liked by his players. Do you feel like your best coaches were also the ones who were most liked by their players?
Not necessarily, Kevin. It's not about being liked. It's about being respected. And the best coaches are the ones who you really like, but you also are a little afraid of. And I think it's a fine balance. Greg Popovich has it. And I think Gentry the last several years has developed that balance, and that's why he's been such a good coach.
He kicks it to Scola. Dishes it to Dudley. And out of bounds as the Jazz gain possession. Let's catch up with Doris from the sideline.
Kevin, I briefly spoke with Alvin Gentry. We talked about the keys to this game, and he singled out Paul Millsap as a player they've simply got to be mindful of. Coach told me he's always been an energy guy, someone you have to locate and box out every possession. But he's developed his offensive game to the point where he's more than just a hustle guy. He's also a scoring threat now, and a guy we can't leave open. They'll be watching him, Kevin.
Great. Thanks for the report, Doris.
You know, Marcin Gortat has emerged into one of the best centers in the league. Back when he was in Orlando, he was in a backup role behind Dwight Howard. But now that he's in Phoenix, he's getting starters minutes, and he's made the most of it. Very, very productive player.
They now take the lead. Foy's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3.
Well, he can shoot the 3. We know that. But I'm not sure the D does. I mean, they weren't anywhere near him on that possession.
Dragic the pass to Beasley. Dudley. Dragic kicks to Beasley from the arc. That's it, coming off an assist from Dragic. Beasley's got 5 now.
And it's his poise at the offensive end that impresses me most. This guy is unflappable.
Well, Clark, speaking of Gortat, he led the Suns last season in scoring. When you look at him as a scorer, what's his strength?
He can do a lot of stuff, Kevin. He's got good hands. He finishes around the goal with both hands. He can pick and roll, pick and pop. Nice mid-range touch. I like what he brings. When you're that big and have the skills he has, you can put up some good numbers, and he did.
So Utah ends up going with the new group. And the Suns here with a different look. Channing Frye's checked in for Gortat. Johnson comes in for Luis Scola. Shannon Brown, he's checked in for Jared Dudley. And Gilbert Arenas subbed in for Goran Dragic. The feed to Beasley. It's Brown on the wing. Back to Beasley. Over Williams. And that one is good by Beasley. Beasley's got 7.
Yeah, no mistakes on the offensive execution there.
You know, if you're talking about making the playoffs in the Western Conference, Kevin, you're almost always going to have to be 500 or better against the teams in the Western Conference. And the Jazz did that and got in last season.
They sure did. Now here's Favors. 9 feet out. Williams gets the bucket. 52 seconds left here in the first quarter. Beasley outside. Baseline J on the way. They get it again. Back to Arenas. Feeds to Fry. The dish to Arenas. Fires for 3. That's good. 3. Arenas has got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. Clark, just to follow up that point you made on the Jazz, they finished 25 and 23 against the West, and it was just enough to sneak in there.
Just barely.
Yeah, and Steve, it doesn't matter how you get in, they got in.
Yeah, they got in, which was quite an accomplishment for a young club. And I get the feeling it won't be the last time that this group makes the playoffs. A lot of talent growing together, and a lot of good high-character players in that organization. This team's going to be a force to be reckoned with for the next few years.
The Jazz shooting their first free throws. First trip to the line in this one.
Well, this is a club that shot 75% as a team from the free throw line last season.
Telfair kicks to Brown. He dishes it to Telfair. The pass to Fry. He feeds it to Telfair. Dudley defended by Bell. No good with the triple.
Well contested shot, and they did an excellent job of not fouling the shooters.
Defense is about effort and
the new season.
All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. And taking a look at the Suns' performance here, Clark and Steve, what have they been doing or not doing?
And the defense has been key in building this lead. They've really clamped down hard.
they've done a nice job, Steve. I think challenging every shot, a hand up on every shot.
All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups courtesy of Gatorade as the second quarter gets going. On Phoenix, looking who they've got on the floor. We've got Markieff Morris. Dragic is out there with Arenas. Then it's Johnson, and it's Fry in at center. So for the Jazz, their last game, a win against the Nuggets.
You know, it's hard to lose a game when you shoot the ball as well as they did in that one.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. I mean, shot making can cover over a multitude of sins. The percentage they shot from the floor is one you might talk about an individual player having, not the entire team.
Let's check out what Doris Burke has for us.
Well, the young big man Derek Favors emerging as an elite defensive presence for the Utah Jazz, and his offensive game certainly showing strides as well. Former teammate Devin Harris said he's probably the strongest player I've seen for his age. Once he understands how to play, he'll be one of the best power forwards in the game. Kevin, a lot of excitement about the young talent in Utah.
And Favors right at the front of that list. Thank you, Doris. Here's Foy. Offline with his three.
Not able to find it here in the second. He's off stride and off track just a bit after that one he had earlier.
Kicks to Dragic. Pass to Johnson. Suns moving the ball around. Fry dishes to Dragic. Off target there. That would have pushed the lead to double digits.
And Phoenix, I thought, was one of the surprise teams in the Western Conference a year ago. And one of the reasons was that they really played well within the conference. I think a lot of people expected them to struggle against that deep Western Conference, but they played well and I think had a much better record than what most people predicted.
So Utah ends up going with the new group. Now, here's Burks. He's covered by Brown. And here's Hayward. The Jazz need to get off a shot here. That's good. Williams has got his first 3 points of the game. And you look at how they played last year. They finished 23-25 against the West, which isn't a bad mark, Clark, by any means for a 500 team.
Yeah, but the Suns know that hovering around 500 overall and against the West really isn't going to cut it, Kevin. I mean, adding depth up front should help them compete against those tough Western Conference forwards.
Hayward passes to Burks. Stolen by Dudley. Stoic kicks to Gortat. And it's sent back by Jefferson. And Shannon Brown picks up the foul. That is his first foul of the game for the Jazz. Favors comes in for Al Jefferson. And it's Foy in for Alec Burks. And then for Phoenix, Michael Beasley. He's checked in for Gortat. And it's Marshall in for Sebastian Telfair.
How about the season Paul Millsap had for the Utah Jazz last year? He increased his rebounding, improved his free throw percentage. Went from what they called an energy guy to really an all-star caliber big man.
Here's Foy. That's good. Randy Foy. Foy's got 7.
Boy, after struggling in the first quarter, he's come alive here in the second.
Now here's Brown. D right on him. Beasley against Millsap. The kick out to Brown. Back to Beasley. Makes the lead pass. With the clock winding down, it's rebounded by Derek Favors. When you talk about the leap forward for Paul Millsap last season, he was a big reason the Utah Jazz exceeded expectations.
Kevin, and that front court rotation for the Jazz, the envy of the league, really. I mean, they've got both youth and veterans. They've got some terrific players inside, and Millsap, one of the anchors.
Looking at who's out there now for the Jazz. Aja Bell, he's checked in for Hayward. And Earl Watson is subbed in for Randy Foy. Marvin Williams is checked in for Utah.
Excellent find there on that inbound. Really good execution.
Arenas dishes to Beasley. Passes it to Dragic. And that one's good. Dragic has got his first basket of the night.
Good work turning that into an easy 2-point. He can attack the rim as well as anybody.
Here is Watson. He's guarded by Dragic. Bell up on top. Favors with a screen on Arenas. Bell against Beasley. No good from Bell.
Solid advantage in the rebounding totals for them so far here.
You know, in every game, but particularly in a close game, every little advantage you can use helps, and they're certainly enjoying one on the glass here.
Watson kicks to Bell. It's good, and Watson picking up the assist.
Good job pulling the trigger when the defense opened up for him. He had an opportunity, took advantage of it.
It could go. Got it off in time, but it's no good. And the first half ends in a close one.
19.
Suns ahead, up by 2.
21.
It's the NBA on 2K Sports from Energy.
Now, presented by Sprint.
Hello and welcome. We've got a great one underway at Energy Solutions Arena. It's a close game for the Suns. They're going up against the Utah Jazz. Perhaps a little foreshadowing of the playoffs. We could see these two elite teams facing off. Michael Beasley getting it done through 2 quarters. You have to love the way he's asserted his will on the offensive end. Good overall. Also, though, for the Jazz. They've done all the little things, made all the hustle plays, and that's been the difference. There's been some great work by Randy Foy in this one. At the break, 7 points, and also has been a factor with his rebounding. Let's start off with a peek at some games.
And it's been a back-and-forth game so far with no ground given through the first. Third quarter starting here now. You look at Michael Beasley. He's really been playing well.
Yeah, give him credit. He's been very selective with his shots, and it's paying off for him and his team.
You know, he's taking exactly what the defense is giving him, and he's not forced anything. And that's exactly how you should play the game, in my opinion.
At the 4 and 5, Paul Millsap and Al Jefferson. Foyle is out there with Mo Williams, and it's Bell in at the small forward position. That's the 5 on the floor for the Jazz.
You know, one of the interesting parts of that Monte Ellis-Andrew Bogut deal was that the Jazz were actually in line to receive the Warriors' first-round pick. It was protected through 7. And so Golden State, part of the deal with Ellis leaving and Bogut being hurt was that the Warriors thought they might lose enough games to actually retain that pick. But they didn't know that, going in one way or the other, how that would work out.
And Doris Burke has something for us. Hey, Doris.
The Phoenix Suns training staff and doctors are renowned league-wide. Back in 2000, they developed their unorthodox methodology for injury prevention and rehab. They evaluate players' flexibility in 8 different areas 4 times a week. Do manual muscle testing for strength, assess movement, and even take measurements of players' legs, ankles, and hips. This allows them to determine which muscles are tight or weak, which joints are out of whack, and they look for and find any dysfunction. It's this understanding and application of what's called kinesiology that's enabled them to have such remarkable results. Kevin?
They do amazing work, Doris. Thank you. Williams kicks to Millsap. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
You know, one of the reasons Paul Millsap dropped in the draft years ago when he came out of college was people questioned his size. But what they should have been paying attention to was his heart, because this guy plays as hard as anybody in the league. Just knows where the ball's going. He anticipates it off the glass, and then he's got the will to go and get it.
He'll do the dirty work for you at both ends, and his hands are really quick. I mean, he's a guy that can create deflections and get steals because of his activity with his hands and with that strong body of his. You know, one thing I really like about Paul Millsap is he'll get you those extra possessions. He's got a tremendous nose for the ball. He's an outstanding rebounder in college. And he also gets you steals and offensive rebounds. He's a possession grabber for you.
No wonder Jerry Sloan liked him so much when he brought him into the league. Dudley, the pass to Beasley. A rebound by the Jazz. Millsap's got his 3rd rebound tonight. Next game for him, they'll take on the Raptors at Toronto. And that'll be game 1 of a 4-game road trip.
You know, the fans out in Toronto are really hoping for a win for their Raptors.
Clarkie touched on Millsap getting those extra possessions. He also is a very good passer. The guy who's, careless with the ball, so he helps limit your turnovers as well. Great quality to have, Steve.
Yeah, and anytime you have a big who can pass, it really opens up your offense and gives you some options in terms of your execution. So I like Millsap, an excellent all-around player. He plays with big energy.
Here is Williams. Second half of play, and we're 3 minutes into the third here. Timeout is called, first of the game for the Jazz. And this is their first time matched up with the Suns this season.
Well, last year's season series between them was a battle of 2 of the NBA's mid-level teams, and they didn't get the better of it.
Derek Favors checked in for Paul Millsap. And then for Phoenix, Markieff Morris is checked in for Scola. Johnson comes in for Michael Beasley. And it's Brown in for Jared Dudley. And Shannon Brown picks up the foul. That'll be his 2nd foul of the game. Phoenix making some changes. Beasley comes in for Markieff Morris. And Dudley subbed in for Wesley Johnson. Now, here is Ford. He's covered by Brown. And Bell kicks to Favors. Buries it down low. Favors got 5 points so far. These guys were a tough opponent for them last year, Clark, like Steve was just saying.
Yeah, when you're so evenly matched with the team, Kevin, it doesn't make you feel that good to have dropped most of your games against them, because you feel like you should at least win some of the games you play against this team.
Dishes it to Ford. Back to Williams. Bell. Clock at 6. Looking for Jefferson. He gets it there. Outside Williams. There's the triple. And it's Phoenix with the rebound. Coming into this, having notched a win against Cleveland in their last game.
And I thought the key factor was the contribution from the bench.
So true. I mean, a few of those guys came into the game and instantly sparked their offense. And you love to see that from the second unit.
Gortat misses. The Jazz have gone 5 of 6 so far from the field in the second half. Tremendous efficiency. Releases from 15. Beasley with the rebound. Beasley's got 3 rebounds now in this one. Dragic dishes to Beasley. He kicks to Brown. Suns moving the ball around. For the lead. Another 3 for Phoenix. Utah trailing here. Outside Williams. Jefferson setting the pick for Williams. Inside to Jefferson. Good, and it's Williams who picks up the assist. 10 points for Al Jefferson.
That's what a good solid screen will do for you. It gets you a good look at the hoop.
He got it up.
That's got to feel good. Ending the quarter on a positive note.
Yeah, you would know that feeling well, my friend, wouldn't you?
It's still anybody's game as we've reached the end of 3. Suns lead by 2. And fourth quarter basketball will be coming your way on 2K Sports right after this.
Tune in next Sunday.
As the fourth quarter gets going, let's swing it over to Doris Burke to find out who's had the Sprite uncontainable game. Doris?
Thanks, Kevin. And it's the Suns with the uncontainable game award for the offensive stretch they put together. They came out of halftime completely rededicated to the defensive end, and that allowed them to gain this advantage. Definitely a game changer as they head to the fourth.
Doris, thank you. That was quite a run they had. Quite exemplary of what we think of when we think about that turning point. Definitely a Sprite uncontainable game moment.
Yeah, you won't get any argument from me, Kevin. It was as big a factor in this game as anything. You know, when a team builds up that much momentum, it just becomes so hard to turn the tide back around.
Yeah, Steve, they just kept the throttle down. They sensed an area of weakness and then just continued to exploit it, never letting up.
On the court now for the Suns, getting going here in the fourth. We've got Johnson. Markieff Morris is out there with Scola. Then it's Gilbert Arenas, and it's Telfair in at the point guard.
Carving them up inside there, Kevin. I mean, the defense has been vulnerable in there.
Yeah, that's 3 straight field goals in the paint area. That's really good offense.
Now, here's Burks. Tight defense on him. 5 to shoot. Here's Jefferson. And not a good shot for him. They can get better looks than that. Suns leading by 4. Johnson kicks to Morris.
Oh, get it! Oh, watch out now. The defense just couldn't recover in time.
Yeah, the D pretty much went brain neutral on that one, Clark. Wouldn't
yes,
you?
Yes, sir. I like that phrase.
Yeah, I don't use that phrase very often, but to me, that's what happened. He shifted the brain into neutral.
Yes, he did.
That was embarrassing.
And that last replay, courtesy of Sprite. Tipped. Leaps for it. And it's going to be out of bounds. The Jazz will retain possession. Here's what Phoenix has lined up on their schedule. They'll host the Denver Nuggets after this one. That game marks the first half of a quick 2-game homestand.
I'm really looking forward to see how the Lakers fare in that one.
And the Jazz call time here.
You know, it's a little strange to not have the Suns in the playoffs for a consecutive year. Last year, they came close, but ended up finishing 3 games back of the 8th playoff spot.
Here's what Utah's going with right now. Derek Favors checked in for Jefferson. Foy comes in for Alec Burks. And Mo Williams subbed in for Jamal Tinsley. Let's go quickly over to Doris Burke for an update.
Hey, guys. Well, Tyrone Corbin had some advice for the team in that last huddle. He actually lit into them pretty heavily, saying, we're being way too soft on the inside. I'd better start to see some toughness and more shots being challenged. No more easy baskets. Pretty strong words, guys.
The Jazz making a switch here. Jefferson's checked in. Back to what you said about the Suns, this franchise has had such an easy time making the playoffs for the past couple decades that even 2 years with no playoffs seems like a drought for them. Steve, you know that firsthand. You were the general manager there at one time.
Yeah, it's been such a successful franchise over the last 40-plus years, Kevin, that it surprises you when they're not in the postseason. But look, this is how the NBA works. It goes in cycles, and right now they're in a little bit of a down spell.
Shot by Foy. For those just joining us, fourth quarter here. We're just over 2.5 minutes into it. Dragic the pass to Beasley. With the lead pass, Dudley dishes to Dragic. Bunny shot. Drained for 2 points. And Utah has possession. 6-point game. He needs to hustle. Clark, some tough offensive sets. They want to turn it around.
Yeah, they need a basket just to regain some momentum here, Kevin.
And that one's good. Millsap.
That's where you like to get shots, inside and close to the hoop.
Brown kicks to Dragic. Dudley. Now the feed to Brown. He passes to Beasley. 6 to shoot. And there's Brown. That's good on the assist by Beasley. 7 points for Shannon Brown.
Yeah, he shows us. He knows how to finish with a flourish.
Luis Scola. He's checked in for Shannon Brown. Look at the clock. A little under 3.5 minutes gone here in the fourth. Williams kicks to Jefferson. Shoots over Gortat. Jefferson's shot is off.
And they're struggling a little bit on the glass. They've got to pick up their physical play in the paint.
Yeah, it's about being tougher and more physical, just as you said, Steve. If they can do that better, they've got a chance to come back.
Here's Gortat. Kicks it out to Beasley. Three-pointer. Shot's good. And the Suns lead by 9.
Well, I like that he's come up with some big baskets for this team to help him out in getting this lead.
Back to Williams. There's the dish to Foy. Shoots over Dudley. Kept alive. Another shot. And it's rejected. They retain possession. Jefferson's shot is off.
That's what they call the $1 million move with the 10-cent finish.
Gortat, the pass to Dudley. Back to Gortat. Good ball movement here by the Suns. And stolen by Williams. Now 8 seconds separating the two clocks. Nice shot by Foy. Suns have gotten into a pretty good groove, going 6 of 10 here in the final quarter. Here's Dragic. He's guarded by Williams. And here's Dudley for 3. Paul Millsap with the rebound.
It's like he's just trying to showcase his range, but he could probably...
Oh! How about that basketball, man? Wow. That's another one for his highlight reel. Just one of many dunks we've seen him throw down like that.
But Clark, it never gets old, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Steve, something else.
No, not for me. I mean, I'm always ready to see more of those.
And now we've got the intentional foul. He drops the first one, and that increases their lead to 6. And so both free throws are good. It's a 7-point game. Utah calls timeout. They're trailing by 7. 7 seconds left in the fourth quarter. What do you think, guys?
Well, they can call timeouts all they want, but it's not going to do a whole lot of good at this point.
Yeah, this one's about done. The writing's on the wall. There's nothing they can do to change this one. He has such a great feel for how a missed shot is going to come off the rim. Really plays those angles well. That's exactly why he consistently beats defenders to the ball.
So the Suns win it. They came, they saw, they conquered.
Hey, Kevin, to me, any win is a good win.
Thank you for joining us for this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports. For Clark, Stephen Doris, and the rest of the crew, this is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Last but not least, here is your Jordan Player of the Game, Michael Beasley.
it.